So you saw your girl retired, calling it quits in her loss over the summer or a couple last week, I should say. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on what you thought about her as an all-time great and an all-time athlete for all sports. Where do you feel she kind of ranks, or what is her status amongst the greatest athletes that we've seen, primarily in our generation, I would say. But you can take it all time, of course.
I think I want me to start this off. All right.
Come on.
Wait,
Shit hasn't changed.
because he got so quiet. I mean, honestly, in any sport, when you think about greatness, you think about wins. And when you talk about tennis wins, overall, you're not going to find an athlete who has the combined wins of Serena. Singles, doubles, everything. Her name is synonymous with tennis, especially in the women's category. You know, when you just talk about overall career, if you put her career against anybody's, overall, anything, awards, wins, anything, it's stacking up and it's crushing most. You're not gonna find somebody with a resume like hers possibly ever again. I'm not saying it can't be duplicated or somebody reach for that goal, but as of right now, there's nobody gonna touch what Serena's done in the women's division. I mean, you have people who have kind of been passed that torch and are being heralded in that right, and even Serena has given the cosign on these people, but at the same time, she's bowing out gracefully, She's taking a lot of slack for people, especially, because she's gotten a lot of slack just for being a woman and doing what is already, being a passionate winner. Doing anything, above a calm demeanor, she's being deemed angry, and she's taking that with class. She's taking abuse from refs. She's took that in stride, and she's still continually came back and won. End of the day, she lets the score speak for itself. Her performance speak for itself. Her career speak for itself. On and off the court, you're not gonna find a class act like Serena. She came from one of the roughest environments, and she's risen to the pinnacle of her sport. Point blank, period. You can't top that. Like, she's so good, she got a movie about her father made. Come on now. I'm just saying.
I mean, when it comes down to Serena, I think of greatness. The first thing I think of is a legacy. I don't think of just a female athlete. I think of one of the best athletes that I've ever witnessed since I've been watching sports. The tagging her and her sister, just the dominance that they had on the tennis sport alone, but just her dominance of obviously what you say, what she has overcome, the passion, the adversity, the trials that, people try to put hurdles, but at the end of the day, she never let anything really stop her from being great. When I think about somebody who can walk away from the sport and pick it back up in about a few weeks and compete at the top level, that lets you know how great she really is. When I think about great athletes, when I think about the Jordans, the Gretzkys, the Bradys, the Rice, when I think about tennis, the first person that comes to tennis in my mind is not a man. It's her and her sister, but it's really her. So, when it comes to certain sports, actually, she is the face of tennis to me. I agree with everything you said, though, Marlon. No disagrees, but that's greatness. What you think, Ron?
Short and sweet. I mean, y'all said a lot, so I'm gonna say less. So, pretty much. I'm gonna piggyback off of Joe. When I think about tennis in general, I think about Serena. Not just because of how good she was, but the personality that she brought into tennis. A lot of people can't really say that tennis is a boring sport. When you watch Serena, there's nothing boring about her at all. She's really like into it. You think about a lot of the goats and everything, like they're like knee deep into their sport. And that's one thing I appreciate about Serena. You saw the passion, you saw the excitement, you saw the anger, the cries that fell to the sport. So I felt like, men and women, honestly, I got her ranked number one. Honestly.
Ranked number one as in
As
tennis or
Tennis.
athlete.
No, we ain't get to the athlete part. No, I don't got her ranked number one as an
Okay.
So
athlete.
you saying tennis wise,
Tennis wise, I got number one.
all 10 men and women.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any disagreements with what you guys are saying as well. I mean, to come back and play at 40 years old, I mean, you sit here talking about LeBron and Brady and all these other folks playing for such a long time.
40?
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
side note, and she almost died giving birth.
Right. Yeah. So
Come back from blood clots and all that.
right. So like Javon said, I mean, for her to come back right after that and compete at the highest level only speaks to her greatness.
Who knocked her up?
Her husband.
She has the billionaire who owns Reddit.
Yeah, bro, you tripping.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't keep up with all the intimates and stuff like that. I just keep her when she's on the floor. When she's on the court, she a beast. After that, when she drives off, I don't even know what car she drives.
Yeah, her daughter Olympia be out there watching her.
I don't know what car she drive also,
Right.
but I knew that wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, exactly. To be able to do that, and again, the longevity, when we talk about all-time great athletes, that's really, again, what speaks to me, the longevity of being at the top for so long. So like Brady and LeBron and Jordan, all these guys that we've seen throughout our lifetime, I mean, it just speaks volumes. So that most made me think of the question and want to ask you guys what your thoughts were on that. So to follow up, Ron, get into all sports, where do you put Serena as an all-time athlete?
Top 10. Top 10. She's not in my top 5, but she's top 10.
Okay. Maul?
It's hard to do that, to be honest, just because, like, in all honesty and with all due respect, we do have men and women's sports different for a reason. So I can't say a top 10 and include men and women. I will have to try to, because she's in a frame of her own. Not many women's sports have been around that long to compete and compare with what she's done. But of course, she's an all-time great athlete, point blank period. She's redefined tennis for Black people. Black people that weren't really, outside of like Arthur Ashe and people like that, they really weren't thinking about tennis. But for our era in the 90s growing up, she redefined tennis for us. She brought the urban era into tennis.
Ron, look like you got something to say. What's going on?
I mean, she herself has said she would not compete against the men. With all due respect.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, Marlon. I get what you're saying on the comparison. You don't want to compare men and women.
I don't.
But when I think of tennis, she is tennis.
Serena.
And when I think of great athletes, I don't want to be like, oh, if I think about the best football player, about the best basketball player, I might not think about the best female basketball player off the face. I'm gonna think about other men. But when I go down to tennis,
yes, like I said that. Like,
she's gonna be the
one. All
one.
due respect, like I think of people like her, think about Roger Federer, people like that. Like these people have defined tennis. Like I'm not the most active tennis, but for the average person, when they hear tennis, they think Serena Williams. Like the average American, when they hear the word tennis, they like, oh yeah, Venus and Serena. Those words are synonymous with tennis.
Yeah, the face.
And even for going forward, even with the younger generation, they have a movie going out. So the young kids have gone to see.
So entertainers, Marlon, where do you have her at?
I said I can't rank her.
Yeah, he said he's not gonna rank her.
As far as women, as far as a woman athlete, she's gonna be my number one because it's somebody I've seen my entire life. Well, not my entire life, since 95, growing up. There's everything. She's been a part of the media and part of tennis.
So okay, I mean, we'll go with that. So you're gonna say that she's number one in your women's category of all-time sports athletes?
Yes, because most I said most other women outside of like the Tarasis and other female players have been up around 20 plus years. There's not many going back 40 years. There's not many.
All right, give me your top 5 female athletes of all time.
when I think of my female athletes of all time, I think of, wow, he got really close to the camera.
Right. That's it. What he doing?
I think of
Little
Taras, I think of
fool.
Lisa Leslie, I think of Mia Hamm, I think of Layla Ali, and I think of number one, Serena Williams. These are people who I've always seen in the pinnacle of winning and in women's sports.
All right, Javon,
I'm
what
not.
you got?
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. What you say, Ron? E?
No, I was saying, go ahead. What you got?
I'm not mad at the. I'm not mad at that. At your 5, I mean, they were all
Yeah.
great.
They just-
It's. I mean, it's. You can throw extra names in there, bump whoever you
Of
want to
course.
bump out, but I mean, that's kind of hard to.
It's
to
very
debate.
hard.
It's kind of hard to debate greats. I mean, listen, it's about preference, so it's not about that. The fact that you put her at number 1 for me in that category. I'm not going to argue how you rank, because that's a whole nother day for argument about that. But it's not even really an argument. You don't want to
Yeah.
rank her in that category, then I'm gonna accept that. That's what
No, in that
you
category,
want to do.
I say the best for last. That's as my number 1, of course, all the time. It's going to be Serena. There's
Yeah.
somebody who's synonymous in the back of my mind anytime you think of
Right.
women's sports. She's redefined the women's athletic body.
When I think of, I'm not gonna. I would think of it co-ed. It's great athletes. It's great athletes. Look, you great. You great. When I think of greats, you great. And she's gonna come to my mind when I think of great athletes. When I think of 10.
But you want
And
to say,
I want to think about the best ones in each sport.
Right.
I don't want to disrespect her by saying in my top 10 because tennis is not a primary sport I watch. So she's not going to fall into my immediate top 10 of favorite athletes or favorite greats. Huh?
Nobody said favorite.
All right,
but at the same time, there's gonna be a bias when you ask somebody for their particular favorite their top athletes, because it's gonna be.
As I say, it's also unbiased.
I understand that, but at the same time, when you name a top list, there is not a unanimous top 10 list across the entire world.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
we're going to get into like how we create this list, because we can't just put 5 football players and 2 basketball players on your top sports list from all time. So like give me like 2 basketball players, 2 football players, 2 baseball players, maybe some boxers. But when you get to tennis,
the first thing that's coming to my mind is Roger Federer and Serena Williams.
Yeah, those are the top.
I got.
I would say
Andre. I can say Andre Agassi. I can say all these people come down to mind, but like I said, these people. Did you watch Andre Agassi, bro?
I did.
I watched Agassi.
I'm still picking.
So you making faces,
nigga. You forgot who the fuck you talking to, nigga. I probably watched.
I'm talking about Ron
too.
No. Ron is making faces.
You said like I wasn't old enough. Did you watch that? Nah, I was say, bro, I probably seen McEnroe. I mean,
McEnroe.
I did not see
he's
no
more famous as an actor.
I did not watch no McEnroe,
bro.
I'm messing with Marla, like nigga, I ain't that old, but no. I used to mess with Andre.
Hold on, is it safe to say, Maul, that for you, Serena's not the face of tennis?
I said she is. I said when I think of tennis, she is synonymous with it.
So
like I said, the first name I think of is Serena.
But then why ask me about Andre Agassi and all those other guys?
But I didn't ask you about that.
I ain't even gonna try to argue with Mark.
He's bringing up. He said name people more than one person in these sports. He's asking me to bring him about. Is a part of a conversation. I said from point blank, when I think of tennis, Serena is synonymous with it. The first 2 names that come to mind, Venus and Serena.
How about we don't say 10? When you think of the greatest athletes of all time, is Serena in there?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. That's
what I'm saying. I said I do not want to rank them.
No, I agree. I ain't disagreeing with that.
I said I don't like to mix people because it gets into a whole other thing. But you said what?
You're not choosing violence.
Yeah. But this is not a thing about violence. We're celebrating people right now.
Yeah, tell them.
I'm trying to give everybody their flowers at the same time. Like I said, but right now, celebrate Serena. She is great.
Ron, you so ready for violence.
Undeniably
celebration.
Great.
You can't even celebrate right, Ron. Like what the fuck?
I didn't celebrate.
You want him to bring violence on the Serena topic.
Celebration
Right.
in my top 10.
Well,
All
I'll
right,
say
man.
she in my top 10. I'll say that.
Yeah, celebration. She's
I mean, I'm
Because
with
of
you.
everything you talked about, right? As far as being the face. So when you talk about the main, like the large sports, obviously we would throw Jordan and LeBron, Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, Muhammad Ali, right? These are your all-time great athletes. No real
Floyd.
argument.
Muhammad
Or
Ali.
Floyd, exactly. There's no real arguing those guys being all-time greats. I think the same thing when I think of Serena, basically everything you guys been talking about. That's where I rank her up in those all-time great numbers.
Who's your top 5
Top 5 of what?
athlete?
Athlete?
All the folks I just named. I mean, I haven't thought about a particular order, but I would throw those guys up there in the top 10.
All right. When you say athlete, do you mean decorated athlete, longevity athlete, or just a person who is an athletic individual?
All-time great.
That's another thing to think
So
about.
yeah, right. Good.
That's a very hard thing to say.
That's a great
very
question.
vague.
Great
Because
question.
you're talking about athlete, we can just be like Dion, and then it's
Like, I can say Bo Jackson, one of my favorite athletes. The man can shoot a bow and arrow with his feet. Come on,
That's
man.
right. And so I would say for an all-time great, I'm thinking of not just your physical capability, but like you said, longevity, your career stats, accolades, everything. For me, that's an all-time great. Everybody we talked about, some of the folks I named, were able to do what they did for a long time and got the accolades to back it up. As well as they were great athletes. They may not be the best athlete in their particular sport as far as physical capability, but the total package of everything that they did puts them, for me, at an all-time great level. So I'm not just strictly talking about physical capability.
Is LeBron in your top 5?
He will be up there, yeah.
Hell no.
Like I said, there will never be a universal top 5 of people, athletes.
He's a loser.
Man, let's move on, man. Move on.
Yeah, he's ready for violence.
You choosing
violence.
violence.
Hey, let's talk.
Anyway.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
He want to talk about something violent. Let's get to what something he can talk about.
Get to his boy. Go ahead.
What happened? Somebody ain't do something right today. Somebody pissed you off, Ron.
I don't want to talk about that. What's going on?
Somebody run those sprints.
What's the next topic?
Half step.
Ron. So for you, Ron, since you want to be hyped today, let's get to your boy, Lamar Jackson.
What about?
So we've seen a lot of quarterbacks over the past couple of years, and including this year, get some nice contract extensions and all that. So we got some great quarterbacks in the league right now. Where do you rank Lamar Jackson as far as an all-time great Black quarterback in the NFL?
Top 10.
Why?
And we're in the top 10.
What? Yeah. So we get specifics. We talking about one sport, males.
Probably number 8. Number 8 or 7. Probably number 8. Strong 8.
Who you got ahead of him?
Oh, damn.
You choose violence. That's your thing.
Yeah. Choose violence. Speak your
So
violence.
you got Vic ahead of him?
Talk to him.
You got McNabb ahead of him? You have Cunningham ahead of him?
Nah.
You got Russell Wilson ahead of him?
Mm-hmm.
You got Mahomes ahead of him?
He's not Black.
There you go. You're going to throw a half in there. 3.5. That's 3.5.
Remember, his mom said to call him Patrick. We call dudes Pat. Next person.
Warren Moon.
Yeah, I got the Warren in there.
It's your 10.
Did you say Donovan McNabb?
I got Cam.
McNabb. Doug Williams.
Cam Newton.
Doug Williams.
I don't got Doug.
You don't got Doug?
Deshaun?
No.
Oh.
No.
What
has he done? What's Deshaun done besides touch girls?
So let me ask you a question.
They touched him.
Dante Cole.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So
Dante Culpepper.
E, what the fuck you smoking?
Let me mute his dumb ass. Hold on.
Now you saying best quarterback or best player?
He takes
Because
the
we're
ball
talking about
under
quarterback,
center.
he's probably not top 10.
He takes the ball under center like all those other people. Tell ball quarterback.
And throw the ball. We grading them on throwing the ball?
We're grading as far as not only just throwing the ball, but what he's doing with the rock as well.
His effectiveness.
Overall performance at QB.
Yeah, we ain't
He's at
overall
number
performance
8.
at QB. He's in the
Number
top
8.
10. If we
He's
talking
number-
about the
he's number
best
8 now?
quarterbacks out of them, he's not in the top 10.
Talk to him,
We're
Javon.
talking about best ability, like just as a weapon, he's top 3. If you're talking about quarterback, he's not a top 10.
So then it's fair to say that Michael Vick's not top 10.
Michael Vick can throw way
I think
better
Michael
than
Vick was a better passer than him.
How? He's throwing just no different.
How? Because the way your shoulder and elbow and hands throw the ball, that's
Mechanics.
how.
Yeah, it's the same to me.
It ain't the same. It ain't the same sandwich.
They both extend plays. There's nothing where he's doing a 3-step drop back. They're both extending plays. Every dude that
I understand, but this is unbiased sports talk, and I'm going to ask some unbiased people. What do you guys think? Who's a better passer?
As far as who?
Vick is a better passer.
Vick or Lamar?
Vick will run around and still drop a 50-yard bomb.
Yeah, I still got Vick over.
That's 3-1, baby.
Yeah, it's fine.
Vick
I
can
feel
throw
like
it on the money too.
he
Lamar
may
is
get
a
there.
little shaky.
Who's better passer, him or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun.
Pure passer.
Who's a
Deshaun,
better passer, him and Warren Moon?
Warren
Come
Moon.
on, man. Warren Moon destroying passer.
Who's a better passer, him and Randall Cunningham?
Cunningham.
Ronnie Callahan.
The black side of Patrick Mahomes. Who's the better passer?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes.
Dak Prescott.
But at the same,
I mean,
but at the same time, ask yourself this: for all quarterbacks and stuff, who's the most dangerous?
I'm not. You don't got to ask me that. I just said if you're talking about as a weapon, he's top 3.
But at the same time,
as a player, not even as
but it's the same thing. What kind of like Maul did, but Maul is a little bit more respect when it comes to Serena and stuff. Where I get Maul's point, where it's not fair to try to like do this to her and everything. So that's why he was like he didn't feel like doing it, all this stuff. I feel like we're being real dismissive to Lamar, but it says the stuff that he does, especially because he's the present, versus like about the guys in the past and everything.
But Serena's the prototype. We're comparing Lamar to his predecessors.
Who's the predecessor?
Who started it? The people who trailblazed his path, who was doing it before him.
Serena is the trailblazer. She is the prototype. She is the anomaly.
Right, but
Lamar's not an anomaly. There's other black quarterbacks who have done what he's done.
Repeat what you're trying to say, so we can be clear and understand. Because I thought I was being clear. I said as a weapon, as a player,
wasn't Michael Vick not a weapon? Like, did they not have QB running plays for Michael Vick as well?
Yeah, but we're not talking about Michael Vick versus all the other quarterbacks. We're talking about all black quarterbacks, and we're talking about Lamar in that category.
Right, but then it was okay. Let's break it down. We have time. How much time we got? E, check your clock.
We got about 5 minutes.
We got 2-3 minutes, bro. Seriously,
2 or 3 minutes. All right, so
I'll give you an extra 2.
So just really break it down. At the end, if you think about it, all of them take the ball on the snap. True or not true? True or not true?
Well, listen, the truth. Come on.
Okay, true. Okay. Do they all run different schemes? True or not true? True.
They run similar yet different schemes. Yes.
No, they do not run similar. No, because the only person that's similar that was not in his top 10 is Colin Kaepernick, and he's not top 10.
He had a top 10 season,
bruh. Took team to a Super Bowl and NFC Championship. Your man can't. Have your man done that yet?
Your man piggybacked off of someone else, Alex Smith. He took our ass for the half of the season.
He took off. He piggybacked. What about the NFC Championship?
So no,
and piggybacking off Joe Flacco and Ravens team.
What do you mean? What? Who did he piggyback off of?
Bruh.
You're talking
about Alex Smith. Alex Smith was a bump. Listen, what's your point? What's your point?
When did Alex Smith go down? Since we bring in Colin Kaepernick, when did Alex Smith go down?
Week 6, week 7.
So that's not piggybacking.
The man still. How many NFC championships your man been to?
Is that not piggybacking? That's not answering the question.
He still got to finish the season, bro.
Okay. Anyways, let's finish out because Colin even got an MVP. Because that's another thing too to throw in there too. How many of these dudes in this thing got MVPs?
Wow. We didn't ask about who got MVP. We said who the best quarterback.
To break it up, like I said, he's a strong number 8.
So the
Honestly,
MVP
I
will make
don't
him
disagree.
higher.
I'm with
why bring
Ron
it
on this.
He's a strong number 8. I didn't give him top 5 and everything because here's the truth about me giving him a strong number 8. I have to consider all the other things that come along with it, right? Like I told someone else, when it comes to these top 10 quarterbacks right now, majority of these top 10 quarterbacks right now have a top 5, top 10 wide receiver. We do not have a top 5, top 10 wide receiver.
Because no one wants to play with him. But I'm asking you a question. What is he right now ranked in the NFL right now?
Top 10. He's top 10. Top 10.
Quarterbacks are players.
Nigga had to get simplification.
Y'all wrong.
Top 10. But the question still stands.
I'm just asking, like, you mean quarterbacks are players?
Top 10 has a top 10
That's Marlon. That's how I look at it. As a quarterback, it's different. As a player, he's number 2, number 1, maybe as a player. As a quarterback, as a quarterback, he struggles to throw the ball and make
what I just said. All the top 10 quarterbacks have a top 10 receiver. So if you really want to talk about it and everything, there has to be a wave of how we want to give credit to these guys and everything. Like, Josh Allen really started balling when he had Stephon Diggs. So does that make him number 1 or make him number 2? Mahomes, he had Tyreek Hill. Tom Brady, he damn near had 3 number 1s on his team.
But I seen him ball with not a number 1 on his team.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. But I stand my case about this.
And top 10 wide receiver. Top 10 wide receiver is what's the dude from the Chargers? Is he top 10 to you?
Who?
Who's the top 10 wide receiver on the team? What's his name?
No, I didn't hear your question. Who?
Is Keenan top 10?
Keenan's top 10. Keenan is top 10. Keenan Allen's top 10.
So, Javon, let me ask you this. What is your criteria for a top quarterback?
That's a great question.
My criteria for a good quarterback is a quarterback that can throw from the pocket.
I think he said great.
Good quarterback, great quarterback, either one. If you're ranking quarterbacks, I'm looking at how you throw the ball, not how you run the ball. Now, if you're looking at an athlete or you're looking at a player, then yeah, you run the ball well at the quarterback position, but you're not a great quarterback.
So do you not have the ability to run the ball is not part of your criteria of ranking another quarterback over another quarterback when you start getting down to nitty gritty with ranking top quarterbacks?
If I'm ranking a quarterback, I'm ranking him off his throwing ability. If he's a weapon and can run, then yeah, I might give him a little bit more, but I'm not putting him on the other dudes that we just talked about.
I got a question then. This is my 2022 question. How many quarterbacks in the league right now would you consider top 10 if they had no top 10 weapon?
It's hard to say because you got to see it without it.
Yeah, that's if.
But do you though? Because
I mean, but how do we know the Ravens don't have top 10 weapons?
What do you mean? We relax and everything with wide receivers.
Because your quarterback is suspect.
They're going to different teams now, so we'll see if they can make a.
And that's what we're gonna see right there. How does Hollywood look somewhere else?
True.
Okay.
And why did other wide receivers didn't want to come there?
Because it's a running scheme.
Why is it a running scheme?
Because of the coordinator. The same coordinator that you had that was last too. He was at the
49ers. Because he was trying to disguise Colin Kaepernick's weaknesses, and he's doing the same for yours. And I know the coordinator you're talking about, so you shouldn't have brought up Greg Roman, who won't run a double tight end set because your man can only throw at tight ends. Come on.
But did y'all not have
I know. You just talk. You shouldn't have brought it up, bro. Because I know Greg Roman.
So question for you. Did y'all not,
man? Your man ain't throwing to the wide receivers outside. Like, listen, we've been talking about your man's inabilities to throw because his footwork is suspect.
Let me ask you a question.
One at a time.
Did your team not have more talent than us when Colin Kaepernick was at quarterback?
So what they did?
No, answer the question, did he? Because who did you have that you could easily pick those wide receivers over mine?
And Antoine Bolden.
Oh, who else?
Crabtree and Antoine Bolden. Who else?
And you have Randy Moss.
Randy didn't do nothing.
But he's better than the ones I got.
They're better because your man don't make nobody better.
No, it's not about the person sometimes. Sometimes the wide receiver can make the quarterback better. Isn't that not correct? Have we not seen that many times?
How many receivers Tom Brady made?
He's made plenty, and a lot of them those became duds afterwards. He made Deion Branch, and then Deion Branch went to Seattle and shit the bed, and he tried to come back.
That's what we saying. Like, who is your man making better?
Making better. We saw what he did with
talking
Randy.
about what he don't have. What is he doing with what he does have?
Obviously, he did a lot when he won the MVP. He still had to throw the ball
because he was running all over the league at that time.
But did he not throw the ball? Did he not throw over 35,000 yards? He just didn't win it off of just running the ball. Because Cam Newton did the same thing, and I had to give Cam his props because Cam didn't have no numbers like that, or no wide receivers like that. But he made it happen with less.
Do you think Cam better than Lamar?
I think Cam is better than Lamar. That's my personal.
I don't know. I don't know on that. I think Cam can't throw either. So
I think Cam is better. I think Cam is better than Lamar because what to me, another intangible, and I was just telling us about my quarterback. Another intangible that makes a quarterback great, and this is why I give props to people like Tom and Phillip Rivers and not Matt Ryan. You're not afraid to take sacks. A quarterback who's winning to stand in the pocket and who's going to throw under the rest. And that's one thing I give a props to all those guys that we named, whether it's Warren Moon, Donovan McNabb, even Michael Vick sometimes. A lot of those quarterbacks in the day that's not even really talking about, they're going to sit in the pocket and throw. I have said it many times before. Lamar, if I wanted to play street football, Lamar is number one. He's the number one street football quarterback I would take off the street. And we all play pickup ball. We play in the alley, I'm picking Lamar. But the one thing I'm not going to do with this conversation is this, though. I'm not going to be dismissive about how a wide receiver aids another quarterback. Yes, to answer the question, does Lamar right now make his wide receivers better? The answer is no. But at the same,
to your point, how is Cam better?
I'm not talking.
How is Cam better? Because if you're saying Cam better, what had Cam done? He had weapons when he only did something.
What do you mean? He stood in the pocket.
They
just because he's standing in the pocket, he's better?
No, but hear what you said about what quarterbacks and everything. You say arm mechanics and like he was in like, you know, a three-step drop.
Cam just said basically the same thing I'm saying though, Ron. You just said Cam better because he's standing in the pocket. I'm saying that these quarterbacks are better because they have better quarterback mechanics.
So Joe, stop. Don't cut me off. I was getting to that point because I was agreeing with you, but then you cut me off. So now I'm answering your question again.
But if you agree, what's the debate about? If you agree.
No, I agree. As I say, I agree to it. But the one notion that we need to get off of is this about saying, oh, who is he making better? Couldn't we say the same thing about there's wide receivers making quarterbacks better, though, at the same time?
Nah, man, we ain't about to do all that. Your man ain't a good quarterback, bro.